Folks, welcome back to Three's In. I kind of remind myself sometimes of Red Skelton. I start laughing or chuckling here in the beginning of a presentation because I know the punchline that's coming. Okay, that being said, so in July 1980, I was assigned to the Royal Australian Air Force Flight Safety Division at their Pentagon there in Canberra, Australia. And that was just a dream assignment. I had a blast down there. And as we got into the fall, actually, it was around this time, I suppose, they had an embassy party one night. And in that, I was billeted in Canberra. I got invited. My wife and I got invited. Typically, when the Yanks were assigned to a Royal Australian Air Force unit out in the field, they just kind of stayed out there. But being in the capital, the ACT, the Australian Capital Territory, I got invited. We got invited to that embassy party that night, and that was really quite an interesting deal. I'd never been to an embassy party, so it was kind of interesting to stand off the side and kind of watch all the goings on. I felt like Eddie Murphy a little bit on Beverly Hills Cop, where I'd sit there and go, ha ha ha, just it was insane. Anyway, you had all these different people um, vying for this, that, and the other, politicking for this, that, and the other. Okay. So in 1980, the ambassador to Australia was Jimmy Carter's former banker out of Plains, Georgia, and his wife. He got the ambassadorship to Australia. What do you know about Australia? Probably not too much, at any rate. So he was the ambassador to Australia. And so I'm standing there talking to a friend of mine, Tom, and Tom was, I think he was a senior Air Force officer attached to the embassy. He also was the ambassador's pilot. They had a C-21 that they flew down there. And they had a couple guys, I think they had three pilots maybe that were stationed there that flew the C-21. And so Tom and I were standing there having a drink, just kind of watching over things. And up walks Mrs. Ambassador. And of course, we kind of snapped to as much as we can muster to doing that. And she says, Tommy, she says, I have a question for you. And Tom says, yes, ma'am. He says, do you think we could take the ambassador's airplane and put a banner on the back of it that says Reelect Jimmy and fly it around Australia for the people to see? And I got to give him a lot of credit. Tom says, yes, ma'am, I think we can do that. We can get on it right away if you'd like. He says, there's just one issue I can think of. And she says, and what would that be? He says, well, ma'am, he says, the people down here aren't allowed to vote in our elections. And she looked at him for a minute, completely dumbfounded. She said, oh, that's right. Never mind. And just walked off. He handled that, I suppose, as best one could expect. I'm not so sure I would have come up with that, but makes for a great story here on a Saturday afternoon. Thanks for stopping in. This is Bobo, Base Gear. Stop.